This is Piper. Piper is going to show us how to accurately take a blood pressure reading on your pet. Now, when taking a blood pressure, you do want to ensure that your pet has been resting before taking the values, since if they were just walking around outside or running around the house, that can artificially elevate their blood pressure. Laying down is the ideal way to take it, but sitting is also okay, and it's helpful to have a second person to keep your pet from running off with the blood pressure cuff. The most common placement for putting the cuff is on one of the front legs, either one, just above the wrist joint, or it can be placed at the tail base. For the purpose of this video, we will be showing putting it on the front leg. When taking the readings, you do want to take about 8 readings to ensure that when the doctor averages the readings together, we can get the most accurate results. Since with our pets, we can't tell them to sit still, take a deep breath, and not cross their legs while we take the blood pressure reading. Little Piper is such a good girl. Now we move on to our little friend here. This is our blood pressure cuff, and for this little guy, we just need this small size, and we will help to size your pet properly. The inside portion goes towards your pet's leg, or towards their tail if it's going on the tail. The Velcro wraps underneath, and the little lines on the underside should line up right with the top of their leg, again just above the wrist joint. For a properly fitting cuff, it should wrap right around, and the little dots from the underside should line up right between the optimum zone dots on the outside. Then we will take the end and plug it into our PetMap blood pressure cuff. This reader does have some sticky buttons, so typically if you press both buttons down at the top, that will turn the reader on, but if the buttons are not working for you, you can just unscrew the batteries, screw them back in, and that will also turn it on. On the front, you can see it says dog forearm here, and if you press the top right button down hard, you can change the species and where it is reading out, whether it's the forearm or a hind leg or the tail base. Typically, it will say either cat or dog forearm. Once the blood pressure cuff is on your pet, you will go ahead and pump up the handle. By pumping up the handle, that inflates the cuff. And for small dogs and for cats, it only takes 1 or 2 pumps, but for larger dogs, it does take several. And you want to see those little yellow numbers in the top left. You want to see that number get almost up to about 200 as you're pumping up to get an accurate reading. Now, for writing down the blood pressure, the values you want are the systolic and diastolic. So here, 133/67. You would go ahead and write that down and repeat this 7 times.